Hey y'all, this is Moni.
And this is Kat.
AKA. And this is the Fake Ass Book Club. Wait, can we both say it or no?
Welcome back, you guys. This is your host, Moni.
And this is your host, Kat.
Hi, Kat.
Hi, Moni.
Oh my gosh, we're back for another week at the Fake Ass Book Club. Feels good.
It does.
Yes.
If anyone's worried about my thumb,
I wasn't.
I've got some serious ass thumb problems.
Well, now I'm worried. I didn't know.
No, it's gonna maybe show up a little bit. I sliced it pretty hard cleaning up today. So
you know what this feels like? This is so cute.
what does it feel like?
The fact that it feels like when my kids have to show me like I was at school today and I have a Band-Aid. Okay, do you see what happened to me? I had a hard day. It's like, you know what, friend? I'm sorry about your serious ass thumb problems.
Thank you.
Should have never happened.
Shouldn't.
We were working hard. I just know. My God. Okay. All right. Well, I'm glad we got that.
Okay, back
to
our show.
Back to our show, you guys. So we actually have a book to talk about this week. We're not super fake, so hopefully you guys enjoyed that. We're going to be reading about
Girl Unearthed by Angeline Boulley, and it's giving French, it's giving Indigenous, it's giving Michigan, it's giving Canada, it's giving all of those things.
Absolutely, you guys. So this is going to be a good one. I want to
For
give you guys
change.
a little bit. It's going to be a good one. It's always a good one every single time. Every single time it's a good one, you guys. So a little bit about this book, you guys. This is a New York Times bestselling author, Angeline Boulley, taking us back into the world of the Firekeeper's daughter and a high-stakes mystery about the power of discovering your stolen history. Here we return to Sugar Island and meet the next generation of the girls in the Firekeeper's family. Boom. I was so excited. I think I expressed that last week. I really enjoyed my time on Sugar Island, so I was excited to go back.
I was dragging my feet a little because I think when I got into it, I was like, oh yeah, there was a lot of trauma. And so I was, but it's still handled really well. And it is quite the adventure. And I do love seeing generations of women in storytelling.
Guys. So good. So before we jump into all of the trauma, all of the adventure back on Sugar Island, you guys, let's dedicate this episode like always. So hands over your hearts. Thank you guys for tuning in again this week, especially our patrons. Thank you so much. Also wanted to shout out my husband. We've been married for 17 years. Our anniversary just passed. Shout out to Black Love and to Partnership and, just being committed to living life together. You know what I mean? It's a good time. I also wanted to shout out, and actually, I bet you this is your dedication. I wonder what yours is. I'm going to skip it and see if you
No. Go ahead.
Does it have to do with Black excellence in the world of sports? Black, maybe tennis players?
No.
Really?
No, that's not my That's not my dedication.
I just knew I was stumping on your
No,
feet
but if you talk
today
about
with that
CoCo,
one.
I did see that.
Of course I am. Shout out to CoCo, man. She just won the US Open. 19 years old. Talk about Black excellence. That was just it was such a full circle story, and it's so beautiful. We won't get all into it, you guys, but if you've been watching the news, you guys have seen it, and we're just we love to see that at the Fake Ass Book Club. So shout out to you, CoCo, and your family. You guys are nailing it, doing a good job.
Wait, what's her last
Beautiful.
name? I'm just calling her CoCo like I know her, but in my
I just don't have it.
I've been calling her CoCo Tennis.
No, it's a.
I know it's not
hold on,
tennis. I feel like it starts with an X.
Oh, I know you know that. Gauff.
Huh?
Gauff. Gauff.
CoCo Gauff.
Yeah,
That sounds like a brand.
So shout out to her.
Like a brand I would buy. Yes, definitely shout out to her. Yes, and your dedication. My dedication is a little more local this week. It's going out to MXP Phiri. They're doing a summer celebration this weekend, and I'll be doing a live paint there. So
Ooh.
yeah, I'm dedicating this to them because they always create a great vibe. I love it. It's community, it's positivity every time. So looking forward to that. And it's also next to Winging It, and not for nothing, I love that fried shrimp. And side
Gosh.
dedication to Amsterdam. They just adopted a new model called Donut Economics, which helps to address economic inequality and sustainability, climate sustainability, or ecological sustainability, so the planet doesn't set us on fire. So shout out to them. I'm gonna look more into that. I'm like, donut economics. That sounds like something
Tasty and could be good.
So yeah,
I mean,
dedication over.
okay, very nice. Wow. I feel like they're always doing stuff over there like that. And it feels like they're alone. So good luck with that, guys.
Well, I don't think they're alone.
No one else seems to give a
I
damn.
feel like the other Nordic countries will get it, and then hopefully, since they speak English, they'll like publish papers that will hopefully make it. I see some change. You saw they forgave a bunch of people's student loans. Like a change gonna
Not
come.
enough.
Not enough, but some. Like a lot
Okay,
of
some is better than none.
It is. It's better than not enough. But yeah,
Okay, all right.
getting back to our show and the things that we
Yeah,
do,
man.
so we can stay on track. Let me pull up a little bit about our author. She's very, very impressive. Angeline Boulley, an enrolled member of the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians, is a storyteller who writes about her Ojibwe community in Michigan's Upper Peninsula. She's a former director of the Office of Indian Education at the U.S. Department of Education. Angeline lives in Southwest Michigan, but her home will always be on Sugar Island.
Oh,
Yeah.
so nice.
Yeah.
My goodness.
And she's got some really nice
Yeah.
pictures on here too.
She's gorgeous. She
Yeah.
has the signature red lipstick and just she's a whole vibe.
Well, actually,
and
she
she's
kind of has your look going on right now.
Oh,
The fresh
I might have
blowout,
hers
all
going on.
black, and a red lip.
She's my elder, so I'm saying I'm probably jocking her style at this
Okay,
point.
fair.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But that's
There's
what's up. It's
parallels.
classic.
There's parallels.
Yeah, there's definitely parallels. Well, this book is a young adult fictional novel, sort of a mystery in the vein of Nancy Drew. And she was inspired by Nancy Drew. I remember the first time when we were talking about The Firekeeper's Daughter, a lot of her inspiration for writing her books came because she was like, when I was younger, I just wished I saw myself in these stories, especially those mysteries and stuff like that. So you can definitely feel the influence of that in her writing. Also, the actual book's about 400 pages if you're reading it, but the audio book, which I listened to, was about 11 hours and 32 minutes if you're listening just at regular speed, which of course I sped up, so it didn't take me that long. We had to speed through it. But what I will say, if you're gonna take in this book, I think you should definitely listen to the audiobook. And I say that because the audiobook, voice actor Isabella Starr LeBlanc, she did such a good job. She's also indigenous. She's a Sistin Wampin Dakota narrator, and I felt like she did a really great job of blending English and then just like that dialect of
when they say use
the Ojibwe, the Ojibwe culture and their actual language. I think it adds a lot. So I think if you're interested in taking this book in, consider the audiobook, you guys. I know not everybody likes the audiobooks, but
I feel like it helps
she
to
did a
pull
great
you
job.
into the world, especially if you're not familiar with the culture.
Yes.
Strong agree there.
Because reading those words, I'm sure, because I know for me, when I'm reading words in books I don't know, it's always like blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
you
like, I gotta
can't
skip
hear
over this.
it
I don't,
in your head
I
because I've
don't-
never seen
yeah.
this word before. So sometimes it's just
Literally
it just
never.
lives as static a little bit, which isn't really fair to the work.
It's not. And it's just, I turned it into gibberish, whereas it is a beautiful language that deserves to be heard in the way that it's supposed to be, heard. So I really like that. So that's just my little side note or whatever. But I think this would be a great time for a breakdown if you got one, friend. I mean,
Sure.
You're the breakdown queen out here.
Sure. So when we left off with the Firekeeper's Daughter, our protagonist was Donis. And so now we're picking up with her twin. They're her cousins, but they're really more like her nieces, like the relationship because of their ages. And so her nieces, Perry and what was the other one? The smart one.
Ooh, dang. Why don't I know?
I
This is
kept forgetting
terrible.
while I was listening.
Edit
I
this
kept
out.
trying to
This is
memorize
terrible.
it.
Pauline. Oh, it was Pauline.
Pauline. Okay, so the twins, Perry and Pauline. And so now they are in high school, getting ready for college. And I mean, just we're Perry is our main protagonist, but since Pauline's her twin, she's a big part of the story. And it's kind of awkward because Pauline's the smart twin, which has gotta suck. It's like, we're twins. How are you like smarter than me? Like, that's so weird. But she was just academically smarter. Like, Perry had a lot of strengths too. And so, but it was just hard. That's just a shorthand for like why their relationship is a little complicated, but they're also very close. So they live on Sugar Island with their mom and dad. They're going into like, it's summer. How did I forget her name? Pauline is, getting ready because she's going to do an internship. She's an overachiever. Perry is a little more chill. She's like, oh my God, I can't wait to do nothing this summer. A girl after my own heart. But, she is speeding through the forest and ends up wrecking the Jeep. And so now she has to get a job to cover the repair costs. And so while she's doing that, she ends up working on a project where she finds out about all these remains that are basically being kept by museums and collectors, which are the bodies of their ancestors that have been dug up. And then she's on this mission to get them back by any means necessary. So she arranged this like kind of Nancy Drew Scooby-Doo heist with her band of ragamuffin misfit toys. And they're able to get some of them back, but not all of them, and get some justice for their auntie Donna's.
Yes, I like it.
Yeah.
So what I wasn't expecting? Like, I wasn't expecting to like be fully immersed back in that whole, like, I didn't know that I was going to see Donna's again. And like, it really kind of dug into their family. Like, we really got to kind of like a continuation, like 10 years down the line, you see Donna's as a mom because she has a son, and, seeing her more in a, like a motherly or auntie type role was really interesting. What do you think? What did you think about the mystery aspect of it? Like, we kind of talked about this a little bit before too. I think for me, I really thought that Perry was a compelling character and the story was very character driven at first, but then there was a little bit where it felt like toward the end, it was trying to give you all of that kind of action that happened in the first book in Firekeeper's Daughter. And it did feel, I don't want to say it felt rushed, but it did feel like, okay, some of these plot twists and stuff are,
like I said,
it was very Scooby-Doo. You know what I mean? It was YA. It is YA. It's YA.
It is YA. And like I said, I was like, okay, let me stop being an old crank. It's like, yeah, this is just pretend. But it was interesting because it was like a meme, and they were talking about like Scooby-Doo taught us that all the monsters are really people. Like, and that's what was kind of crazy because I feel like she's probably going to write more books. It feels like every kind of like builds on each other. Because like in the Firekeeper's Daughter, like Donna, she was sexually assaulted by, was it Grant? Something?
Yeah.
And so like he got away with it in the first book. But in this one, we finally saw some justice. So that was to me, the most satisfying part of it.
Yeah.
Because I had even blocked that out in the first book. I forgot that it even happened.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't like that part.
Yeah. Well, I mean.
Yeah. I don't think I was supposed to.
I must say, I don't think she put that in there for everyone's enjoyment.
Yeah.
It was more like.
It was just very real. That's what I did enjoy the most about it, was how real it was. Like the issues that they were attacking, it wasn't like with Taken, where it's this kind of fantastical view of what human trafficking is. Like all the issues she's talking about as far as like custody and money and museums trying to hang on to these artifacts, and they're not even really. I mean, real quick, like we're talking about like what's being classified as artifacts, but for these people, these are the remains of their family members.
Mhm. Which is like, I mean, right. So you're talking about it like it's a, a feather cap or something. It's like, this is like somebody who, like, if they didn't exist, I wouldn't exist. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
It's really sick, and
it's gross.
that was the part that irritated me, and I really related to Perry, where she was just kind of like, man, since they stole it, let's steal it back. I kind of liked her logic there.
Yeah, it's like, well, what are you gonna do?
I mean,
I really liked she was definitely very fearless, and I liked the sort of play on the warrior Girl Unearthed, like as far as the title, because it felt like she was like that warrior spirit in her was opening up in the story, and then also it was the thing that ignited her interest, like in her. Before this, again, like we talked about, she liked to fish and hang out and stuff like that, and she wasn't really passionate about anything. And it was like she was in a situation where she learned about her ancestors and saw that this warrior girl's bones and her sword were being kept by this museum. And then she's like, what the hell? Like, this is crazy. Like, and the way that he was talking about it, like, oh yeah, that's my girl. And she's like, this is like an ancestor. Like, what are you talking about? Like, this is crazy. Like, that you feel some possession over our bones, and over, our people. And there was a lot of sort of ritual around the way that you like bury your loved ones and stuff like that too. So it's like mad disrespectful to just have, somebody's bones just hanging up for somebody to walk in and look at. And I think that her reaction to that was awesome. But I liked that was like kind of a catalyst for her as far as her finding her, like the thing that she was passionate about and willing to go hard for. So I think that's probably why she was like, we will burn this shit down to get my,
I mean, if we're going to have a heist, it needs to be, it felt more like a rescue mission than just like they're just doing it. Because a heist suggests like you're robbing something for money. And she wasn't doing this to like get these artifacts and sell them to some other idiot. It was because, seriously, like we need to get this back into the earth. Like we truly believe like we spiritually become a part of this planet by participating in this, and like keeping them from this is keeping them away from their spiritual journey.
Yeah, so I really liked that, because I never even really think, because like what are I don't know if you have any culturally specific things about the way we bury our dead. Like
I told my kids I don't want to do like a traditional burial. I want to be like composted and like go back into the earth. I think the fact that like we use formaldehyde to keep from rotting and like seal ourselves off is like an aberration. Like I know people don't like the idea of like rotting and decomposing, but that's kind of like your gift back to the world that gave you so much. And so it feels like an FU to be like, no, I'm not giving my body back. So I very much want to like go back into the ground. I don't want to like exist as sort of a mummified corpse.
Like the Egyptians?
Yeah, I think that was not a good route.
But I mean, the benefit of that is that they're able to, like study it now.
That's still gross and weird. Like it
is. It's all gross and weird. I mean,
yeah. I mean, because it's the same. Of course, it's been thousands of years, but it's still kind of the same thing. It's like, leave them people alone. They're dead. Like I don't think it's worth. Because like even for the Egyptians, it was part of their spiritual practice. They were going to need their body for the afterlife, so that's why it had to be preserved. And I mean, I don't want to be sacrilegious to their thing, but I don't think that was true. I think that's just
what?
Yeah, I think they probably
heard it here first, guys.
Yeah, and so I don't know. I think this desire to keep ourselves from going back into the earth is hopefully something we'll be getting over with generations to come. But yeah, I don't.
Well, I want to be a tree. I don't really care. I think it's gonna be one of those things where there are certain groups that have a lot of ritual around the way they bury people and stuff. And I think you should be respectful of that, because it's like, everybody has their own stuff. Like, I mean, most black folks, you have to put some formaldehyde in them because they can't afford the funeral. So we got to keep them
that
from
part's
rotting
more
right there on the table.
expensive. Like,
Well, I'm saying though, a lot of times you're waiting for people to come. Like, people
that's
want
why
to
you
see. Like, I
cremate
feel like
it.
it's for our own.
That's
I'm
the
saying for
cheaper
those
option.
who-
I'm just saying if you're poor,
No, I know.
like formaldehyde isn't gonna save you money.
So I'm saying a lot of families are put in a situation where they want to lay eyes on the person.
Yeah, that's
so, yes,
weird.
You're right.
Like, you missed it. They're
You're right.
gone. They're like,
It's not weird. I think that is a very human sort of inclination. Like, I think when you're grieving, like, you want to lay eyes on this person, even though they're like technically gone. People don't move that quickly into grief. Like, you feel like, okay, I want to be there. I want to see them. I want to be able to say goodbye. I want to cry over their bodies. Now, after you get over it, I mean, you can discuss whether or not, like, okay, is this weird or not? But I think that is something that, this is something that people want.
I
You
mean,
don't
I know
want it, but
personally,
people
like,
want
as
it.
soon as he took his last breath, I was like, this is a slab of meat. I don't have any business here anymore. Like, so it wasn't really.
But you were there with him when he passed, though. So
Yeah.
for those who weren't,
But that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why you should,
Yeah.
when you know someone's dying, you should make an effort, because once they're gone, they're gone. Like, I know, like, laying eyes
That's
on them makes
true.
you feel better, but they're still.
I'm just saying the financial part of doing that sometimes is, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm saying for families who want to see, sometimes that's nice because now they're preserved. So if that's something you want to do before they leave, if you want to lay eyes, like if it was my child who got murdered across state lines, I wasn't there, and I wanted to like see the body before it went into the ground,
no.
I'd be grateful
No.
for that moment, maybe. You know what I'm saying? So
Nah.
yeah, I would be.
Nah, put him in the ground.
I feel like I would be.
You missed it.
I don't
like
know.
That's the thing. Like, that's the sad
Don't,
thing.
but you can't tell somebody you missed it.
That's the sad
It's like
thing
you
about
missed it.
death. It's very final. Like, that's the thing. Like,
It's like,
send the
well-
roses while they can still smell them. Like,
I know, but what if I was trying to, and then you got shot while they were en route?
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, you just make your lifestyle just an appreciation of the, life of the people around you. Because once they're gone, it's over. Like,
It's really sad.
it is sad, the finality of it. Well, I mean, and it's not totally over. You still have what you had. And I think for the Native American practice of where they feel like that was one of the things that was super sad about, the Native people being pushed off their land, because they're like, our ancestors' spirits still live in this place. And they're just like, nah, you keep
They
your
been gone.
boogity, stuff
Yeah.
and on. But it's like, they're in a very physical and real way. Like, if they're burying their ancestors there and they're going back into the earth, they very much still inhabit that space. I feel like in a way more real way. So yeah, I think it's important.
Well, they probably feel like how you're like, well, they're gone. You know what I'm saying? They're not here no more. Like, they're in the ground. They disintegrated. Like, why do you care? So I think it just really depends on, it depends on your outlook, I guess. You know what I mean? Obviously, there's lots of cultures who don't give a damn. They don't care. I don't think that black folks have anything real specific unless it's like tied to your religion or anything like that. So I can't say that I related to feeling like, oh yeah, you have to do these things to honor your dead people. It's mostly like what you said, when you gone, you gone. Like, it doesn't really matter. It really comes down to just what your financial situation is a lot of the time, or your personal preferences when it comes to that. But I thought it was really cool that I just thought it was nice because I never even really thought about that, like how to honor, like it being super ceremonial like that. I think Jewish people have a lot of ceremony too around the way they bury their dead. And it's a lot like what you're saying, throw them in the ground within the 24 hours.
Yeah, because and
just get them out of here, they're done.
I mean, there's because that was the thing too that made Ebola super bad. Because in a lot of
keeping the bodies around?
Well, because part of the burial process was ceremonially cleansing the body before you bury them, which is crazy dangerous on someone who had Ebola. So sometimes rituals, as comforting as they can be, can sometimes, this is a Native American saying, I'm probably going to get wrong, that a spiritual practice that no longer serves you is like carrying a canoe after you get out of the water. Like, you don't really need this anymore. Like, you might need this to get across the river, but if you keep like the canoe and just keep carrying it, even though you don't need it anymore, now it's a burden. And so I think with a lot of I think culturally, like all over the world, there's stuff like that where it was like there was a use for this at some point, and now it's not useful anymore, and now it's kind of a detriment.
Yeah. Well, I will say this. I really loved learning about just, some of the laws and stuff. Like, I think that she did a really good job of, like, incorporating a lot of the real life stuff that's even happening now, as far as the way that, indigenous art and artifacts and ceremonial objects get handled through, like, museums and stuff like this. Because I didn't know that much at all about it. You know what I'm saying? I didn't realize they had laws that they passed and stuff, as far as, like, I think it was in 1990 or something.
Yeah,
like that.
93. And so there's all these little technicalities which irritate the crap out of me. I'm like, what's right is right. Like there's all this stuff that people used to skirt. It's like, well, no, because we don't have the time. It's like, cut all that stuff out. You know good and goddamn well, like this is messed
not
up.
your stuff.
Right. And just to be like, well, we don't know if it would be safe with them. And it's like, y'all literally have this stuff in like a dull banana box. Like, and it's
That
like
was
people's
crazy,
teeth.
yeah.
That part I had to actually pause because I stopped and cried a bunch. Like,
Oh, no.
that was the thing. Like,
Oh,
I had
no.
to stop and cry a whole bunch. So,
Oh,
yeah, for stuff
no.
like that, where I was just thinking, I'm just like, I know this is fictional, but this is also real.
This is real,
Yeah,
yeah.
like this was, I think Code Switch did a series on this about indigenous, like just bodies. Like it's one thing if it's artifacts, but just the amount of bodies. And she also referenced the Catholic boarding schools that were destroying indigenous families and trying to, erase their culture and spiritual
forcibly
practice. Yeah,
like
and just the amount of bodies that were found on those properties, and once again just how harmful it is to their spiritual practices because they weren't able to be properly ushered, and like they weren't able to do their ceremony. So for them, their ancestors are still like trapped and not able to do their spiritual journey. So it's just that part was very, very upsetting.
Yeah. Well, what about, speaking of upsetting, what about the missing indigenous women?
Man, all the stolen sisters. Yeah, she hit on a lot of issues, man. Like, and the fact too, because like you said, the way that the laws are laid out, people who are predators, they know who to go after. So that was sad. That was crazy sad. And it's like, I feel like this is a solvable problem. No, like even in the last book where they were talking, where he got away with sexually assaulting Donis because it was on tribal land. So I'm like, well, why can't the tribes go after? Like what? Like this, it just is crazy to me.
I mean, they try to, but a lot of the time, like if it is a fellow tribe member, because again, like when predators, if you're not being caught, like if you're perpetrating something like that and you're not being caught, you become a predator, and you're right there in the community because you know how it works. I mean, that was kind of one of the plot points where the one guy was trying to get I forget his name, but he had the opportunity to donate Lockhart. He had the opportunity to donate all this stuff. So he had all this land that was indigenous land back in the day, and they were suspecting that he was getting all these artifacts and stuff, or, whether they were pipes or moccasins or whatever, or actual bodies from his land, like digging them up and keeping them and stuff. And so he was putting them in a store that he owned to sell, like in this little trinket store. But he also, he just was keeping all this stuff to himself. And the tribe was trying to actually get this stuff back. They were working with the museum. They were trying to work with the university to try to get some of their stuff back. And he ends up donating it to the school, which was kind of a smack in the face, because it's like,
hello,
why are you donating it
right here
to the university? Like, So, but yeah, he was part of the problem. Like you're so close to it, and I don't know, like I just feel like it's always the people who are the most I don't even know what that's about though. Like I don't know why you feel so entitled to it. Like, what is your personal connection to this stuff? Like, what is your fascination? Because in real life you don't care about the actual people, but like when they're dead, and like it's quite a strange dynamic.
I started listening to this podcast called The Inner Cosmos, and it's basically, you know, about just the mind and how it works. And one of the episodes was just about how certain populations can just completely dehumanize another population, like, you know, with the Nazis and with, you know, what we were calling white people over here. And they called it Syndrome E, basically, where you basically don't see them as people anymore. They're like insects or something like that. Like, people are able to, I've never been able to do this, so I can't really relate to it, but obviously it's happened. We see it all the time where there's just people, they don't see the humanity in other people who aren't like them.
It's messed up.
It is super hard.
It's real messed up. I mean, and then you get people who want to take part in that too, though. Like, you had the chief who was crooked, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, it always feels like the system ends up being corrupt on so many levels, and then
It's very discouraging.
It very much so.
Which is why I was with
yeah.
Perry, where it's like, well, come on, like, they stealing, we stealing.
Yeah.
But
I mean, and she was.
But I mean, I understand why that you can't just do dirt for dirt. Like the guy she was working for, Cookie Cooper or whatever, where it was like, we're not going to get justice by being crooked. You know, basically, like, the way we get them back matters. Like, they didn't want to go, and I was like, yeah, because she got fired for stealing those seeds. But I was like,
she did. And her little friend that she liked was kind of mad at her for stealing them, because he was on probation, though. He was like, yo, you could have got me in trouble, actually.
Right.
I didn't really care, but, you know what I'm saying, accomplices and stuff. Like,
and the other part that was super sad was her friend Chauncey, who had that baby, and the daddy was trying to get custody of it or whatever, because there was something weird, like the baby was only a couple weeks old and she had to drop it off for like a custody, or, you know, for parenting time or whatever. And I was like, man, that's too young to be like away from your mom that long.
Yeah, it was a whole week.
Yeah, I was like, And they mentioned hyperemesis, which was really, I mean, they didn't say hyperemesis, but they just mentioned the fact she had morning sickness the whole pregnancy. And I was like, yeah, that happens. It's good to talk about, because it's terrible.
It's very, very common. Very, very. And it doesn't feel good. I'm glad I didn't have that.
Do you think the bear that, because it starts like kind of the inciting incident is her wrecking the Jeep because a bear like runs out to protect her cub and she has to swerve to miss it? Like, do you think that was foreshadowing?
Probably.
Okay.
Did you get the feeling?
Yeah. I did. Like, just the way that it happened, I was like, so I wonder if this was like that bear was, you know, just her summer, basically. Like, you thought everything was calm and cool and that you could just turn up, but then boom, like, you thought.
Yeah. It's like shit got real.
It did.
It got really real. I just thought it was a really good book. I liked, I'm happy for young Indigenous women who have this, you know, like, I do think that it's important to have this kind of representation, and, you know, especially when you're trying to get young people to read books and take in different narratives and stuff. It's like, it's super nice to have books like this to point to, like, yeah, you know, this is, and it's exciting too, because like when it's a series and, you know, like how you can get into, you know, like a world building and being like, oh gosh, we're back on Sugar Island. You know, this is something that I definitely would want my daughter to read and learn about, because I think it's cool, you know, to get into these narratives.
I will say,
you're learning something.
The part I thought was really cool like before she got in the car, or before she wrecked the Jeep, because she was just describing, you know, just listening to MIA, Bad Girls, because I love that song. I run to that song so much. It's so hype. And then, of course, like, she's in a Jeep and it's singing about a Jeep.
Feeling good.
And it's also, I think it was a nice nod, because MIA is a Tamil who was in a press group in Sri Lanka. So it's sort of a nice little parallel too, because she's made a lot of protest music as well. And she's a very fight the power girl. So I liked that. I put that in my notes. I like MIA, Bad Girls Jeep.
I like that too. I liked Perry's character though. I think she was a compelling protagonist. She was definitely a relatable one too, especially because I think they were 16, so they might have been, she was 2 years from graduating from high school, but it was cute seeing her little love interest stuff. And like you said, even though like her sister was the overachieving type academically and stuff like that, I mean, you could, if you look at their personal lives, you could, there's some comparisons to be made, because like her sister, even though she was basically, going hard at school and stuff like that, she was the one hooking up with dudes on the side, and
She had a little sneaky
you know what
snack.
I mean, being sneaky,
snack.
being sneaky on the side. Perry wasn't thinking about none of that shit. She was trying to go fishing
And she was the
and
one
hang
doing
out.
edibles all the time.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Doing
Pauline.
drugs
Well,
and-
she was just self-medicating her anxiety.
Of
Deeply
course,
relatable.
I'm just saying, like, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't. I think it's easy when you're living with a peer. You're just gonna compare yourselves. I think that's just gonna happen. And
There's always one that's like sucking up more, because like even if it's not like a visible thing that you can see after you're born, like there's always one that was like going hard, getting all the good stuff. Like one that's bigger, one that it's just always like that. So I guess it does just always start off a competition. And then to get here, and then other people are making observations about it. I think that's what makes it hard, because because even she in the book was like, I mean, I was 8 when I heard a teacher say, oh yeah, I have the smart one. And she was like, so which one does that make me? You know what I mean? And I think about how like fucked up that is, because
to have to hear. It's one
and
thing
the thing
to
is,
think.
she was not dumb. Like that was the other
Yeah.
part. She wasn't dumb. It's just like sometimes there's personality types that, especially adults, like more in kids.
Like
you know what I'm saying? Like
subservience.
the
And Pam
hands up.
wasn't
Yeah.
subservient at all.
She just wasn't.
little
So it wasn't like
snapback.
she was dumb. She wasn't dumb. She just wasn't jumping in a box for nobody. And I like that. I like.
Yeah, and I've been watching
I
a
like
lot of
that.
young Sheldon, and like he's a twin, and so his twin Missy, like he's a genius, but his twin sister isn't. Like, but she's also
regular.
crazy smart in other ways, though, that he's
Mhm.
lacking.
Obviously.
Yeah. So it's always very interesting to see those kind of dynamics. Did you ever used to want a twin
Probably.
sister? I feel like
Just to like trick people or something. You know what I mean? Like, I'll write your paper. Just come do this math test or something.
So you want one for shenanigans. I just wanted to never feel
Shenanigans.
alone. I think,
Oh, no. I'm cool with being alone. I shenanigans.
I am now, but when you're little, it's like I'm bored and lonely. I wish I had a clone, if you will.
I was kicking boys out my room.
Okay. Yeah, you
I
probably
was not lonely.
didn't get sick of the alone time. Like it took a while
Mm-mm.
before that set in.
Still like it. Yeah,
Funsies.
it's still good. But yeah, I thought the shenanigans could be a good look for my life. Tricking people. And I don't know.
I mean, from what I
like
understand,
the
people
movies.
do like doing that. I'm not saying I wouldn't even
looks
do it
fun.
either, especially if, let's
I
just
would
say my
totally do
twin
it.
was better at taking tests than I was. I don't see what the problem is.
Girl, if you don't put this mole on the side of your face and go
Not a
ahead and take this
mole.
test, okay?
It's like, here, you
Whatever
put
it is,
on
it's gonna be
glasses.
something.
I'm the one who wears,
Right. You
I wear hats. It's like, if I'm not the real cat, why would I wear this hat?
Huh?
He's
Explain that.
like, yeah, I don't
Yeah.
even have to take this test. I'm
Mhm.
clearly the smartest.
Oh my gosh, I would love that. That would just always seem like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
All right, well, what else? Let's see, who else do we want to get into? I mean, of course, the little crush thing was cute, because she definitely was like, she didn't really care about boys. She wasn't really into it like that. She really hadn't had any real interest in them, but then she met somebody in the summer program.
Mhm. A bad boy.
Who she heard she was crushing on.
Yeah.
It was cute. They were cute. I mean, it was very much like Skin of the Sea. We kind of scoffed at that a little bit too,
That's
because it
easy.
was like, ugh, their fingers touched. Gross. They're so stupid. Young love. Bliss.
It is that like butterflies,
Yeah,
that
I was
kind
like,
of like,
aw.
oh, what is this feeling? But yeah,
Mhm.
I didn't pay too much attention to that part. I was just like, okay, let's I
You
did
saw his
love
abs because he did a
the-
handstand.
I love the elders. I love when
They
they
were
get
cute.
involved. They were involved in the last it wasn't a heist, but like what were they doing in Firekeeper's Daughter, where they had to get the elders involved in their shenanigans? Usually it's like a getaway driver or something.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it was. They were supposed to be blocking, they were trying to steal the remains out of the big silo on the property, and they needed somebody to be on that road in case somebody came down to kind of like deter them, basically. So Granny and her friend Minnie were supposed to be there, and hey, if it comes down to it, pretend like you're having a heart attack.
But then she ended up having a heart attack.
One of them actually having a heart. I know.
That was
and
wild. I was like, oh,
spoiler.
Man.
Sorry, guys.
And also another spoiler, at the end, Donis was pregnant with a girl. So I feel like that's going to be the third book for sure.
It's definitely going to be.
Yeah.
Definitely. And we get to see her in full on mama mode.
Because that was I did like because I feel like it was a very realistic depiction of how interns are kind of preyed upon. So Pauline was mad at Auntie Donis for basically calling out her supervisor for being inappropriate. But it's like, nah, I peeped game, and he's like a piece of crap from way back.
Been known.
Yeah.
Thank you. Been known for that.
And unfortunately, that's just all too common.
I know, it's sad.
I mean, what are you going to do?
It's definitely sad. Man, I don't know. Anyone? Y'all got the answers to this?
I mean, you know about my sexual harassment problems.
You got some serious ass sexual harassment problems, friend.
I have over the years, yes.
It's no fun.
And
man, it's not good.
It's not.
I think we all have. That's what's really fucked up.
It is. It's just super common. You just have to decide, like,
story.
My life's going to be about for the next 12 to 15 years, or am I just going to ignore this and move on with the rest of my life?
What did you decide?
I just decided to ignore it and move on with the rest of my life.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. That's probably the only way to make it through anyway.
I mean, it's not like, it's definitely not the warrior girl way, but, in the 90s, there wasn't really, no one was taking it seriously. It's more kind of like if you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen sort of attitude.
Oh, that's 100%. And it was probably your fault too, though, low key. So, okay, on that note, maybe we should take a break.
Oh,
We're getting into the... All right, we'll be right back. All right, guys, so welcome back from the break. We're back.
Yeah, we are.
Yep. There she is. I thought I lost you, friend. Yeah, this book, man, I had a good time. I liked Sugar Island. I definitely am glad, because I feel like you mentioned it, and then it was so funny because you were like, yeah, there's this book out, and I'm like, what's the book? And then you said it, and I'm like, oh yeah, she wrote The Firekeeper's Daughter. And you're like, oh yeah, I wasn't even paying attention. So
I forget a lot of stuff.
That's why I know. Listen, me too. So I think it was a really good way to revisit our friends there and see what everybody was up to. I think we should rate the book, though. What did you think if you had to rate it?
I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 stolen artifacts. Only because I think it was incredibly well written and good pacing. I think I was just, I felt too old. I had a very old week. So a part of it was because there was one part where she just kept asking questions one after the other, and I was like, it was like, what if, and then what if this, and then what if that, and then what if this, and it was like, you sound like Andrew Schultz. Stop. Like it was that was driving. It was I was feeling old and cranky, but other than that, it was engaging and beautiful, and I recommend it, especially if you liked Firekeeper's Daughter.
Yeah, I thought it was really good. I'm gonna give it 5 out of 5 jingle skirts.
Ooh,
or the ribbon skirts,
yeah.
those ceremonial skirts. Yeah,
Yeah.
because it was just a really beautiful, like, I just love being immersed in other people's culture. And I would love to see her write, like you said, it would be interesting to see her delve into some, more adult books or whatever, specifically for adults. But I think these are really great books for, it's something that I'd recommend to like somebody, like my nieces and stuff like that. Like, you guys should read these books. They're really good.
She's definitely good at her job.
Right. Yeah. And I like that about people.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys, we're going to spin the wheel. Okay, Kat, just tell the people what's coming up next.
I'm very excited because it's going to be action-packed, guys. So we're going to be interviewing Jasmine the actress, Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey, directed by Kathy Yan. And so we're just going to have a really good time.
Excellent. Was this her choice, or is this
No,
something...
it's my choice because we're going to be interviewing her on Batman Day. And the best part of...
gosh.
Yeah, that's right. You're right to be excited. And so Batman is... The best part of Batman is the villains, quite honestly. His rogues gallery. People are familiar with Joker, maybe one of the most famous villains of all time. And his ex-girlfriend, Harley Quinn. And
yeah,
so, and she is a vibe and a style icon. And also Margot Robbie's fun. She was Barbie. So I give her some more play. And Zendaya's in it. Love Zendaya.
Ooh, love her. Style icon.
No, scratch that. Not Zendaya. Journey Smollett is in it. We love her.
Wait a minute.
They look similar. It's not my fault. And I'm going to edit that part anyway. I said it right the first time. So yes, Journey Smollett, fantastic actress. Right? She's really good.
So good.
So good. She might look like another actress that
all light-skinned people look alike.
Very similar. I mean, they've, wow. So both really fantastic, but it'll be fun.
It'll be fun. It
Yeah.
will be fun. I'll agree with you on that. It will be
Thank you.
fun. Yeah, so hopefully everything works out and we get to do that. I'm going to get into it. So that's on HBO Max, you said?
That is on HBO Max.
Okay, I have that.
Yeah.
I think I can probably find that. That'll be
And
nice.
I've watched it. I'll probably just watch it again. It's, once again, like I said, I already said action-packed, but it bears repeating because it's got a lot of...
That's just what it was.
It's kick-ass. Action-packed. Okay. There it is. That's what I was looking for.
Okay, you needed the kick in there. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm excited. I haven't seen it, and it should be cute and fun. And Jasmine is always a vibe.
Yeah,
she's so cute and just.
I saw her at Butter.
adorable.
Wait, we never talked about Butter. I have to tell you about Butter really quick. We're supposed to go live.
I know. I was gonna say, do you want to put this? Well, no. Go ahead. Tell me about it.
It was nice. No, I saw her because I met her son. I didn't even know she had one of those.
Yes. I've seen him on social media. He's so cute. He looks just like her.
Yeah, I was so behind. But yes, that was really nice. Butter, I'm really, really looking forward to Butter next year. Now I feel like I'm really prepared. Because last year, of course, this year was bigger than last year. So this next year coming up, I just can't wait to see it. But it was incredible. It was like on the 4th floor this year. Did you go last year?
I didn't.
Okay. So, but you saw the pictures.
Oh, yeah.
So nice. Last year was kind of in the car museum of the Stutz. So it's just on that bottom floor. And I guess they were doing renovations at the other parts of the Stutz building. So way more of the area was open and it was just lovely. They had all these great setups where you could take selfies and just the vibes were wonderful. I will say one criticism, the line for the food was kind of long, but it looked good. I didn't feel like eating. It was hot. It was kind of like it can be too hot to eat, but yeah, it was just absolutely lovely. It's just two of my favorite things, art and Black people.
Nice, man. The line is always long if there's going to be Black people there. Actually, just any kind, but you know what I mean? Like the bathrooms and the food truck line is always going to be long. Yeah,
and the bar, but the where was it? Like, it's funny, like if you went certain places, there wouldn't be a line though. Like there were some places that were just more popular than others and all that stuff. But yeah, shout out to Butter and Gang Gang. I just love seeing something like that here in the city.
It's beautiful. And then shout out to Pregame Podcast because they had
Yes.
DJ Grapevine on the show, and he was kind of talking about starting out and the genesis of the whole butter movement, if you will. And it was really dope. So that was a really good interview. So shout out to them for, highlighting that story and stuff, and really just putting on for the city though, because it
Yes.
is. I was impressed with, like, when I was driving back from Detroit over the Labor Day weekend, which is why I could make it. I was seeing billboards like pretty far out from the city, and I'm like, damn, they have some reach. I just thought that was really, really cool.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, I see y'all.
Yeah, Indy's turning into a bit of an arts hub. And also shout out to
It
Thousand
is.
Words Gallery. They're having a community mural painting this weekend. So I'm going to try to stop by for that as well. I love that space. There's just so many great like art opportunities.
Wow.
Did you see
I
what I
you
did there with
friend.
the word art and opportunities?
I got you. Yep. I
Mhm.
liked it.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it. I
It's
like when you do stuff
wonderful.
like that. Felt
It's
good, like a
wonderful.
warm hug.
Mm-hmm. That's what it was like.
All right. Well, that's what's up. Thank you for sharing that. You had some wonderful, I love the video you put together. I had planned on trying to throw some more stuff up, but then I was like, nothing's going to be better than the video she made, actually.
I don't
think
know
she
how
nailed
true
that.
that is, but
Yeah.
thank you.
No, it was true. You're welcome.
But we can slide some extra butter on them.
You know what I mean? Butter, you can't get enough. That's true.
I
There's
can't.
never enough butter. I can't
Ugh.
either.
Ugh.
Unless the heart attack comes, then it's like, okay, I got to cut back. But other than that, it's, yeah.
Oh,
It's
there was
giving.
one more thing in my notes from the book. And this was from the character Kooky Cooper when he was talking to Perry about how when you stray off the path, you got to keep your eyes open because it's always the waves you don't see that knock you down.
Ooh.
I like the way
Nice
I
quote.
was like, wow, that was deep because that's true.
There were some good nuggets in there. There was like a lot of really good quotes and stuff like that. I mean,
Mhm.
again, just goes to what a great writer.
And we're all
she is.
connected. I like that. I feel like that's a very common theme in a lot of indigenous spirituality. We're all related. We're all connected.
Yeah.
So that's why we should be good to each other.
Yeah, man. You know what though? I mean, since we're going back to the book, what did you think about them getting thrown in that hole at the end?
It's very Silence of the Lambs.
I was like, damn, I wasn't expecting that.
That once again, that was the Scooby-Doo-ish part. You know
It
what I mean?
was.
And that's the thing, it's still entertaining. That was the part where I was just like, calm down. Because that would happen. And also, you know what it reminded me of for real?
What?
Jem and the Holograms. Because
Oh,
they would
wow.
get kidnapped all the time.
I don't even remember the plots or anything. I just remember the overall feelings I got watching the show. I remember how they looked. You know, I remember the characters. Like, I don't remember the actual
The Misfits
episodes like
arranged
that.
for them to be kidnapped so much. Like,
Really?
felony kidnapping. Yeah. Like,
Damn.
and it was perfect because they get away with it because Pizzazz was rich.
Just like real life.
I remember that was a dime from Jim the Holograms. Eric Raymond was like, it's amazing what lawyers can do if you pay them enough. It's
Oh,
like,
wow. They were getting real on there.
A
Okay.
little bit.
See, I don't remember all that. But
Okay, but now I'm done. That
was
was
giving.
the last
It
thing
was
I
giving.
wanted to. It was
Okay.
those were two really beautiful parts. I didn't want
Yeah,
to
man.
leave without saying that.
No, I'm glad you added that in there. I agree. That was very nice. And it kind of drives home the point of just what a great writer she was. You guys check it out. I'm trying to think, is there anything else we need to add, friend? I feel like, you guys, I do feel like, let me apologize because I'm at like a level probably 3 right now.
No, you're great. Don't say that. Nobody would even know. Your
Would
body
they
belongs
not?
to you and you're handling it fantastic.
Wow.
Actually, one more thing. I got an
Oh,
artifact.
see, she keep lying. Look
I
at her, just
know.
lying. Just keep coming back. An artifact.
Oh, this is my artifact that I bought
What
from
is
some
that?
actually you can buy stuff from Native Americans. You don't have to steal it. If you give them money, they will
What is
make you
that?
stuff. It's a pipe.
Where did
for
you get that?
I got
For
it
tobacco?
from I can't remember is Native House.
Ooh.
And they sell really cool stuff and I got this and yeah, it's an actual pipe.
Now, how do you know it came from indigenous people for real, for real?
I bought it from an indigenous dude.
You saw him?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like
He
from his
wasn't
hands to
posing.
mine. And he was telling me all about it and stuff like that. And he was
Really?
like,
Oh, okay,
yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Good. Good. You passed the test. I was
Thank
making
you.
sure.
Thank you.
You
So
know
yeah,
what I'm
you can
saying?
give. Oh, that's what I forgot. I was gonna wear
Look
a
at you.
design
Look
from
at
one
you.
of my favorite. I'll post it later. Buy art from indigenous people. Buy like clothes from indigenous designers. Like, give them your money. They make stuff.
They do. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. That dress you wore for my birthday when I turned 40 was amazing.
That
It
was B
very beautiful.
Yellowtail. They
It
they
was
make
beautiful.
fantastic clothing. Like, it's just
Woo!
gorgeous. And then they use sustainable materials. It's just fantastic stuff. Like, you can, and it does take a little work. Like, they're not pushed up the algorithm as much as maybe other people. But now I'm done for real. You take it, Moni.
Okay. Bye, guys. See you next time.
Before we go, we must give thanks
Thank you.
to Urban Nerd for providing our music, and legal services were handled by Trezanae M. Atkins. If you like what you heard, please feel free to join us every Wednesday for another fake-ass book club. Cheers. Thank you guys for listening. You can check us out at thefabpodcast.com. Please subscribe, rate, and review our podcast wherever you're listening right now. We want to hear from you. Come put it in our life. Thanks again, and until next time, peace, love, and the Fake Ass Book Club. We out.